We've implemented everything that we need for the requirements of version 2 of the RPS project tracker. All the functionality is there. However, the current theme we're using, the default theme, which looks very nice, doesn't quite match our existing Bootstrap theme. Telerik UI comes with a number of different themes out of the box, and we can also build our own theme. So in this chapter, we're going to look at some of the styling options, including themes, the theme builder, and icons.
Right now in our application, all the components that we've added so far are stylistically the same because they use the Kendo UI default theme. The default theme provides these gray type buttons and inputs with sharp edges and slight shadows around the controls. The primary color is orange, so you can see that on the arrows here, and you can especially see that on primary buttons, the slider control, and the tabs here. Now, since our original application was styled with Bootstrap, we'd like to apply the Bootstrap theme to the Kendo UI controls so it matches our existing applications for a seamless look. If I go to the tasks panel here, you can see that this input right here is an example of a Bootstrap themed input. It has rounded corners, the inputs are larger, and the buttons are larger too. Well, the Kendo UI library does come with the Bootstrap theme, and we'll get to that in a second. But I'd like you to take a look at the documentation here under Styles and Appearance. The themes that come with the library are divided into two parts. There's less-based themes, and there's SAS-based themes. The less-based themes are the older themes. You can still use them, and they work just fine. We're going to be applying the SAS-based themes. But let's try out one of these less-based themes. You can see that there's quite a few of them, starting with this black theme, Blue Opal, Bootstrap version 3, and so on. Let's head over to the application, and I'm going to need to stop this because we're going to be using the bundler to define our theme. So in your code, open up App Start folder, and then the bundle config here, and then head down to where we defined the bundle with our Kendo theme. That's right here. So right now we have the default V2 theme. Back in your Solution Explorer, open up the Content folder, then Kendo, then the version, and here you'll see all these different CSS files. These are related to the themes. There's quite a few of them to pick from. As an example, we're going to implement the black theme, and the black theme is an example of a less-based theme. So less-based themes require the common theme file and then the actual color theme file. Let me show you what that means. So we need two files here to be bundled into our Kendo CSS bundle. The first one is going to be kendo.common.min.css, and the second one is going to be a color one, so we'll use black. And they're not all named after colors. Black is just the first one listed here. There's also Blue Opal and Fiori, Flat, Office 365, and so on. But with all these less-based themes, you do need that common min file to be included. All right, so once we do that, I'm going to restart my server. All right, and once the application pops up, you'll immediately see the difference here. And that's why I chose this theme, because all our Kendo-related components, all the Telerik UI components, are now going to be black. So these are Kendo buttons. This combo box is a Kendo dropdown. On the backlog page, the grid is also dark themed, and on the details page you have the black theme for the tabs. Notice that some of these inputs have not been styled with Kendo styles, and that's why they're still showing up not themed.
Now, the common file you saw me use for this black less-based theme is the common.min.css file, which is the base common file to be used with most of the themes. But there are certain themes that require a different common file, and this is often a point of confusion. So let's go through that real quick to make sure you understand where to get the instructions for which files to use with which themes if you're using less-based themes, and then we'll get into SAS-based themes in a bit. Open up Documentation, and then on the left side, go to Styles and Appearance, and then click on Less-Based Themes. This is where the less-based themes are documented. If you scroll down here, you'll see a preview of the less-based themes and Getting Started. Here you'll see the Kendo Common CSS. That's the one we already included on our page. And the Kendo Theme CSS, we used black in our case. But here is a listing of some of the other common CSS files that will be used instead of the ones we used. For example, this table lists kendo-common.css, and this is the default base style sheet, which is required by the majority of the UI themes. We know that already. The next one is kendo.common-bootstrap CSS. This will replace the common CSS file that we've included if you're going to use the Bootstrap theme. And this applies to Material, Nova, Fiori, and Office 365 themes. If you're using any of these themes, you will use a different common file. And the reason for that is that some of these use different dimensions, and therefore they need a different common base CSS file.
But we're going to be focused on Sass-based themes. Let's head back to the code. We no longer need this common min file because that one is only needed for less-based themes. So I'm going to remove that one. And we're going to use Bootstrap v4. Let me just verify to make sure that that's the correct file. And there it is right there, kendo.bootstrap-v4.min.css. I'm going to save this and let's kick this off again. Okay, and there's our application, this time styled like Bootstrap. So all our Kendo components here are now adopting the Bootstrap look and feel, which is great because now it matches our application. If I head over to the backlog, here's our grid. Let's go to the add page, and you can see here that these are Kendo related components, but they have the Bootstrap type of interface where the inputs are larger, they're rounded corners, and blue is used as the highlight color. If we head to the details page, you'll see the same thing as tabs are blue and they match our existing inputs. Now you might not always need the out-of-the-box themes. Maybe you'd want to create your own, and we'll take a look at that next.
Your organization might have its own style guide, and you might need to implement your own custom theme instead of going with one of the out-of-the-box ones. For cases like this, Telerik UI provides a theme builder that you can use to customize your colors and the look and feel. Head on over to the documentation site, and in the left pane under Styles and Appearance, you can access the Sass Theme Builder. On this page, you'll find a brief overview of how to use the Sass Theme Builder, but let's go through it together now. Click on this link that says Theme Builder. If you're not logged in already, go ahead and do so. And if you don't already have any projects here, you can create a brand new project. Here you'll select the base theme, which could be one of these available themes that you might already be familiar with. These are the Sass-based themes that we've already seen. And I'm going to give the project a name. In my case, RPS. Let's click Create. And here you've entered the live preview of the Progress Theme Builder. Here you'll see all the different components shown on the right side. And on the left side, you'll be able to edit their styles, including colors. For example, this Kendo color primary, we can change it to something a little bit more striking, like this pink, for example. And in the preview, you'll see all the different components that use the primary color updated to use that color we've just selected. When you're done theming and you're ready to export, you click on this export button, which will download a zip archive that you can extract. And here you'll find a dist folder with the Sass, if you want to use that as part of your build process, as well as the CSS. Here's the rps.css that contains all of our styles. I'm going to copy this file and go back to the project. And in order to get that to show up, I'm going to open up the RPS web project. And in the content folder, we have a styles folder. Let's open that up in File Explorer. Here are all our styles. We're just going to paste that RPS file right in here. Now, normally I'd name it something like theme, but for this demo purpose, RPS is just fine. To add that file to your project, right-click on Styles, go to Add, and then Existing Item, and then select the Content folder, Styles, and then rps.css, click on Add, and make sure that that's in your project.
Okay, once that's done, head over to App Start folder in the bundle config file and find this line where we build the Kendo CSS. I'm going to copy this line right here, and I'm going to comment out the existing theme. And let's go ahead and paste what we had here before. So I'm still going to reference Kendo CSS as the bundle,
but I'm going to change the path here to content/styles/rps.css. Let's run this, and this should be ready to go. Now there's nothing primary on the dashboard page. So let's head over to backlog. And let's get into one of these items to the details page. And here you will see that our slider has a purple handle, which is the color that we've selected for our primary color. Now we have only changed one single color here. You can go wild, of course, and change every single color to match your theme. And that's how you'll be able to use the theme builder to theme your application according to your application needs.
The Kendo UI library ships with a set of icons that you can use in your application without having to hunt down icon fonts like Font Awesome or IcoMoon, and you get a lot right out of the box. You can find the font icons that are available under Styles and Appearance, and then there's the Web Font Icons link here. This will tell you how you can include icons. We're going to do that right now. You also get a list of the icons available right here, and there's quite a lot, as you can see. Let's go back to the application, and on the backlog page, we have this Add button right here. I want to add an icon to the button. Now, there's two ways of adding icons to your application, the way we're going to do it right now, and a second way where you can just add a free floating icon. We'll do both. So let's go to the code, and in our views folder, let's open up the backlog folder and then the items view. Here we're going to rehash some of the techniques we've already used in the course, and we're going to do this quickly. Here is a button, and we're going to replace this with a Kendo button instead so we can utilize the icons. So I'm going to add an HTML Kendo helper here, and I'm going to call button. We got to give it a name, which is going to be button add, and we need to give it the content. That's going to be the text of the button, which is add. And also, when we click on the button, we want to make sure that we get redirected to the backlog create page. So we need to add HTML attributes. That's going to be a new object. We'll give it an onClick property. And that's going to be set to location.href. And then we're going to build up the URL. In fact, I'm just going to copy this line right here where we're building the URL. So this will take care of the button and currently what it can do, which is just redirect us to the create item page. I can delete the existing button now, but let's say I wanted to add an icon to this button. Well, besides all the other properties we can alter here, one of them is icon, and we can give it an icon with a name. So in this case, I'm adding a backlog item, so I want the plus icon to be there. How do I know it's plus? We'll get to that in a second. Let's take a look at the application right now. I'm going to refresh this page, and you'll see now that we have a Kendo-styled themed button here with the plus icon. And we've done this earlier in the course with the calendar. Now, what if I wanted to use a different icon here? So I can go to this page with the Web Font Icons documentation, and I can search this page for whatever icon I'm looking for. Let's say plus. Okay, so there's the plus. It's labeled as .k-i-plus. So that's the class. When we're specifying the icon as a string, we can omit the k-i part and just use the text after that. So for example, let's say I wanted to use plus outline. I wouldn't use k-i-plus-outline. I would just use plus-outline. So here in my icon definition, I can set this to plus outline. And in my HTML attributes, I'm actually going to add a class here so you can see how the icons interact with the Kendo classes. I'm going to set this to k-primary. This will inherit that new styling that we just added with our custom theme. And now you can see that our add button has a primary look with the purple color and the new plus outline icon. So that's how you add an icon inside of a component. But what if I wanted a standalone icon? Well, let's head over to a details page, and right before the title here, let's say I want to have an edit icon because we're editing the item. I'm going to start off with the Web Font Icons page, and I'm going to search for an edit icon. That one looks good. K-I-edit tools. Now, had this been a button, I could just use edit-tools. But since we're doing a standalone icon, what I need to do is go back here and let's find the details view. And here is our H1 title. This is where the item title goes. I'm going to split this up to multiple lines here. And right before we have the title, I'm going to add an icon. And the way we add an icon that's a standalone icon is by using a span. We'll give this span a class. It has to start with k-icon and then the icon that we want to use. K-i- what was it again? Let's take a look. Edit tools. So let's go back. Edit-tools. I'm going to save this and we'll take a look. And there we go. There's our standalone icon right before the title.